Welcome to day one of our new series where we are going to go through exercises for quirky things that we do. We can make this correlation between I do these weird things, but what is this telling me about my body and how can I take action on this to get some pain relief? The positions themselves are not the problem, they are our body communicating to us. So, we're going to start with some breath work today. I start pretty much all my series with some sort of breath work because it is essential from a dysautonomia standpoint. Can we shift from this fight or flight to this rest and digest? It is also essential because we need to breathe. And there are so many different ways that we can breathe, and we always build off this, especially when it comes to what we're talking about this week as far as kind of pelvic and trunk stability. So let's start on your side today. You can get super cozy. You can hang out with your cat in your chicken slippers. You may want to take a pillow for your head. I'm just going to kind of do this, right? So we come all the way up to stabilize our pelvis. A lot of times we have so much guarding around this whole area, that we need to work on releasing tension. So that's what our breath work is going to focus on today. One, finding different variations of breath work, but intentionally kind of relaxing our pelvic floor so that the rest of the week we can work on building that stability in addition to the breath work. So we're going to start with just taking a couple of breaths in. If your side is not comfortable, I'm totally fine if you do it seated or laying on your back. So we're just taking a deep breath in. I have my hand on my lower belly. And out, and just notice where you're breathing. Are we breathing in the chest or are we breathing in the lower belly? I'm gonna actually go to my back because my shoulder is not liking that. Hands on your lower belly, shoulder blades tucked under. Deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And we're not doing anything right or wrong right now. We're just noticing. Let's do a couple more breaths. Are we breathing low? Are we breathing high? Are we breathing up? Are we breathing down? Just noticing. And when we trigger that yawn, I like it. Alrighty. So this time we're going to pay a little more attention and maybe try to breathe a certain area. So first thing we're going to do is breathe down into the lower belly, into the pelvic floor. So our shoulder blades are tucked under, breathing down. As we breathe down, the pelvic floor, or breathe in, the pelvic floor moves down. As we blow out, that pelvic floor rises up. We are not sucking in. As we breathe in, we're actually expanding our belly as we're filling it with air. And the tricky part is not only are we breathing up towards the ceiling, but we're also breathing down into the table and out to the sides. So we want like a full 360 degrees, like a big balloon ball that we're breathing into. So let's do a couple breaths like that. I'm going to put my hands on my side because that's where I have more trouble. Alrighty. Next, just to kind of differentiate, we're going to breathe up into our pelvis into our rib cage. So I'm going to put my hands actually here We want our rib cage to move. Most of the time, our rib cage gets locked down because it's too hypermobile. We need it to move a little bit. I'm gonna breathe in, let this part of my rib cage kind of come up as I blow out, letting it come down. It's kind of hard to like see what's happening, but if your hands are in the front of your rib cage when you breathe in, we fill the whole rib cage with air. We come up. As we come down, the rib cage flattens. So I always feel like kind of upper chest breathing in my mid back. Breathing back down into the table, breathing into our shoulder blades. And when you get to where you're like hyperventilating and breathing too much, then it's time for a break. I always like to do a little wiggle, a little left and right. We're releasing tension in our hips. We are not doing our full range of motion. We're keeping it nice and gentle. Take a couple deep breaths while you're doing it. And again, today the goal is really just to relax it. It doesn't feel productive when we relax for a lot of times. But it is still productive because if we are constantly holding tension in this area, that's also not going to feel good. Throughout the week, we're going to add more to this, but your breath work is going to be the foundation. In general, we'll say for this week, when I'm talking about breath work, we are focusing mostly on this lower belly breathing, not this upper trunk breath, unless I specifically mention it for an upper body exercise. So if I mention throughout the week, I'm going to mention like breathe up into your chest or breathe down into your belly. Today's a great day. Practice going back and forth, and we'll do that in a second, between the upper and the lower so that you can differentiate which one when I'm cueing it during exercises this week. Otherwise, there's not a right or wrong. You should be able to do both. There are benefits to both. So a lot of times you'll hear only diaphragmatic breathe, or like don't breathe through your chest, but there's benefit to both. So I suggest trying both, and if you can't do one of them, it just tells us where to put some effort. It's totally normal to not feel like you can do them in the beginning if you're new to this. So let's do one round of going back and forth between upper and lower breathing. Shoulder blades are tucked under. Again, you can be laying on your back, on your side, on hands and knees if you want, or seated. I'm going to put my hands on my lower belly to give myself that tactile cueing. I'm also thinking about where my back is touching the floor. I am not flattening my back. I'm keeping a nice natural lumbar curve. And we're going to do 3 breaths back and forth. So lower belly, breathe in, out, upper, lower, upper. I'm just going to switch so you can see better. Lower, and upper. Practice more if you would like, and we'll build on it this week. Let me know in the comments what feels more natural to you, upper or lower belly breathing. Is this a new concept for you, or have you done any of my previous series where we talk about this? And we will continue to build on it this week and work on adjusting your sleeping position. So comment if you did today's workout below. Tell me one thing you learned, and I will see you tomorrow.